Hi, my name is Gilbert Thurston. I'm the lead pastor of English Christian Fellowship. Welcome here to beautiful Costa Rica. It's a little bit overcast today. We're in the midst of what we call our rainy season, but I live here in what's called Escazú, which is right near the capital. The capital of San Jose is actually right there behind me. But this is so beautiful. I've been coming to Costa Rica for the last 11 years, and like many people, I originally fell in love with the monkeys and the toucans and the sloths, the parrots, the volcanoes. Actually, there's an active volcano right behind me here. Just all the beauty and the wonder of Costa Rica, the jungles and the rainforests, and all the reasons that people come here as tourists. But about 5 years ago, I started to do missions here in Costa Rica. And last year, God called my wife Lisa and I to actually move here to Costa Rica to become the pastor of English Christian Fellowship. Now, there's a very important reason that we did that. You see, I fell in love originally with the beauty of the country, but ultimately I fell in love with the people of the country. And here's what you may not understand. Costa Rica has 5.5 million people that live here, but 500,000 of them speak English as their original heart language. And there's not a lot of churches for it. In fact, there's only 7 English-speaking churches throughout the entire nation. And so my wife Lisa and I felt a call to come here and take over for a church that's actually been here for 50 years, English Christian Fellowship, to help them to reach more and more people for Jesus. You see, here in this Central Valley where we live, there's actually 350,000 of those 500,000 people that speak English, but there's only 2 churches trying to reach them, ourselves and another church, a great church called International Baptist Church with Pastor Paul Dreesen. And if you think about that, that's amazing. 350,000 people is our mission field, but only 2 churches trying to reach all those people. Jesus put it this way, he said, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. And that leads me to somebody that you know, Brian and his wife Delia and their children. A couple months ago, Brian reached out to me just randomly through an email and said, hey, my name's Brian, and I think God may be calling us to move to Costa Rica, and we're going to be doing a scouting trip to check things out. Can we meet with you? Well, I thought that was just going to be an hour or 2-hour meeting, but it turned out that it was all day with the family. It was just an amazing time, just being able to share what God has been doing in our lives, what God is doing in their lives, and what that intersection may look like here in Costa Rica. And I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that they truly do have a call on their lives to move here as missionaries to help us and IBC and other Spanish-speaking churches that some of them may speak a little bit of English, but to reach the English-speaking population. And so we are just so excited to know that they are being called down here, and I want to encourage you to support them in whatever way you can. The first thing would be with prayer. My wife Lisa and I, again, we moved here a year ago, so we know what it's like to leave behind your home country. You have to sell all of your stuff, leave behind family and friends in order to follow this call. And so I know that Brian and Delia and the kids, they would greatly, greatly appreciate your prayers. And then the other thing that you can do is help support them as they're going through this transition. It is not easy leaving everything behind. So write them a note, send them a text message, maybe make a phone call, stop by if they're available and pay them a visit, and just really encourage them in this next step of faith that they're taking. And then finally, it's not cheap to live here in Costa Rica. You may think that, well, this is a third world country, but it's actually not. It's actually a very developed country, and it's expensive to live here. It's expensive to do ministry here. And so they're going to discover that as they move and as they become missionaries, is that to reach all these people, it's going to take a lot of money. And so I would encourage you, if you have some extra funds above and beyond the tithe that you're giving to your church, please support the Smith family with that and help them as they're reaching more and more people. Here at ECF, we say it this way, that we're not just called to discipleship, we're called to disciple making, that we're to make 4 generations of disciples. That's what we see in 2 Timothy 2:2 when Paul says to Timothy, take the things I've taught you and entrust it to reliable people who in turn can teach it to others. And so that's what we're trying to do. 4 generations of average, ordinary people, disciples making disciples who make disciples. And what is a disciple of Jesus? It's somebody who's following Jesus, they're being changed by Jesus, and then most importantly, they're on the mission of Jesus. So again, please support the family as they go on the mission of Jesus. God bless, and thanks for your support.